Thank you for joining us today, Nicole. We've been friends for a while. I know you've been a friend of the Brand Innovators community for a while, so thank you.
Yeah, no, I was actually, Mark and I were reflecting on this. They call me an OG. I've been with the group. I think I was one of the first 9 people sitting around a table with the Brand Innovators team. I can't say enough about how grateful I am for what they've done for me as a marketer and how they've helped me grow and learn. So for those of you who this is your first time, embrace it and go with the ride. They're a good group. It's a fun group.
I definitely second that. Great community. The friendships you make are some of the most important things. I've made some new ones here these past couple days, so thank you all.
Yep.
I'll introduce myself real quickly, and then most of the focus will be on Nicole and what she's doing. But my name is Joe Hall. I'm one of the co-founders of Spaceback. Spaceback's mission is to help brands distribute content and experiences instead of ad experiences. The way we do that is we realize that brands, some of their best content is on social. They communicate differently because obviously when social came up, you had to follow it. And so our platform makes it super easy for them to distribute social experiences and display programmatic environments in CTV. So happy to talk about that at any point with anyone. Check us out at spaceback.com.
Cool. And I'll introduce myself. So I lead marketing and e-commerce for Soft Surroundings, a really cool little brand that you may not have heard of. We are St. Louis-based and founded, and really our mission is we develop clothing for more modern feminine lifestyle. We support a consumer who is over the age of 40, which I kind of dig, because most brands don't do that. And we really look to globally inspired styles. So you'll see a lot of unique fashion with us. We do have about 40 retail locations as well as a website. We've been around for about 25 years. So we're working on refreshing our brand and positioning. And it's a blast. I love being there. I've been there about 2 years now. Prior to that, was with Victoria's Secret, spent a little time with Virgin Voyages, and then was with Office Depot. So paper clips to panties to cruises to clothes, So it's a whole rich lifestyle there. So told you we would have fun with this.
We're definitely doing that now. How many people are familiar with Soft Surroundings in the audience?
Look at, yes, sweet,
Okay.
one
All right.
person.
A lot of opportunity.
A lot of opportunity.
Before we dive too much into the work stuff, I wanted to ask a couple questions, speed dating, soft questions, just to get to know a little bit more about you as the woman behind the marketer. Everybody here is unique. I'm a big believer in that you bring things into work that you do outside of that. I'm most fulfilled when I'm doing things outside of work that feed that. So just a couple questions, if you'll indulge me, to just to get to know you a little bit better and help the audience as well. Okay. Favorite outside of work activity?
Favorite outside of work activity? I have a couple. I have 3 kids. 2 of them I'm actually legally responsible for. The other one is 53. I just have to keep him out of trouble. So I spend a lot of time with my family and kids. We have 3 dogs. We rescue dogs. We also love camping outdoors. And then the other thing that's become a recent passion is festivals. So my husband and I love to go to live music festivals. We're going to Farm Aid. We did Bonnaroo. I've never felt older in my life at Bonnaroo, but it was really awesome. So yeah, that's kind of the stuff we do. And then also, I do spend time volunteering. I'm very passionate about junior achievement. I'm on the board of the Junior Achievement Columbus. If you guys haven't ever checked out that organization, it's a really cool one. So I'm very, very grateful and lucky to have been on that board as co-chair of their marketing committee.
Okay, this one might be a layup, but what's the next music festival you're going to?
We're going to Farm Aid. Now, well, I'm going to Wonderbus because we've done VIP tickets. That's right, VIP tickets for the last, actually the whole time. It's one of my favorite little festivals. It's growing, and I love the mission it stands for around mental health. It's really quite important. If you guys haven't had a chance to look up the why behind this festival, it's certainly worth it. And then we're going to Farm Aid, so we're doing the Farm Aid thing. Bourbon and Beyond is one that's on the list probably for next year, and I'm a huge we did Bottle Rock a couple years ago, so that one might be. We like to bring the glamper. It's a little tough to do that in Napa, so we like to find festivals we can camp at.
I had a good Bottle Rock experience, so I can second that. One more question before we jump into more work stuff. Any books you've read recently, TV shows, guilty or non-guilty pleasures you want to share with us?
Guilty or not guilty, but so books. I haven't done a lot of reading lately, but I will tell you one of my favorite books that I highly recommend. There's really two. One is Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a big chunky book, but it's a fun read if you want to understand kind of how the brain works and how people like to make decisions. Super helpful as a marketer. Another one which I love. And as you kind of get in a place in your career, there's one called Change Your Questions, Change Your Life. It's a really good one. Helps you kind of stay in a curious space, especially when things get a little bit tough. So those are two that I typically will dust off and read.
Social media brand that you follow, so brand that you follow on social media.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to be kind of irreverent because it's like, of course, I follow all the fun ones, but there are two that I absolutely love. Is anyone familiar with Shinesty? Right? The best. If you're not, get on their mailing list. Spectacular copywriting, totally irreverent. Yeah, like everyone's looking at me like, seriously, like Google it. Everyone just Google it really quick. It's spectacular, very funny. Even their disclaimers in their catalog are worth a read. The other one, and this is way irreverent, several years ago, we were driving and went by Uranus Fudge Factory. It is truly, and there's one in Missouri and there's one in Indiana, and I would encourage you to follow them because they bring double entendres to a whole new level. So yes, I follow all the other zhuzhy ones, but those are two that just make me giggle with good copywriting.
Those are some great gems. I think
They really are. I'm telling you, see, you learned something today. None of you knew that there was a fudge factory called that.
I think that's
With billboards as you're riding on the freeway. It's like, come to Uranus. It's not. I'm not kidding. It's spectacular marketing.
what's that? The handle for that one?
That one was visit us in Uranus.
Okay.
It's like I'm not gonna get. It's so bad and irreverent, but it is quite clever. And billboards abound all along the interstate.
Okay, good stuff. Let's dive in now.
Okay.
That was the fun stuff. Tell us a little bit about your background. Okay, you mentioned a little bit your path. How did you get into marketing? What were you trying to achieve? And take
Yeah,
us
I
down
got
that
into
journey a little
marketing
bit.
a little bit by accident. So double major, political science and broadcast journalism. One of my favorite TV shows, I am a Sunday TV junkie, all the little talkies, Meet the Press and all of those. And I am obsessed with political ads. I originally thought I would be reporting from the White House lawn. Like that was the dream, right? Is to like do that and be in politics. And I got involved after college in politics. And in California, spent time in the Senate with a member as well as the Assembly and loved it. I loved working with constituents. I loved the math behind the campaigns. How do you win a district? How do you win a precinct? And then just, it didn't settle with me. In hindsight, I kind of realized it was just probably a little bit too misogynistic way back in the day because I'm a little old. And so I was like, what do I want to do? Another great book, Zen and the Art of Making a Living. So I sat down and I started trying to think about the stuff I loved. And I loved the direct response part of what I did. So then that turned into different marketing careers. Spent time in retail working for Federated, the Macy's Corporation in Burdines in Florida. And my husband and I started a business. And so I went into our business, our small business, doing marketing. And I thought I'd be doing branding and postcards and all of that. It was a real estate firm. We had about 25 agents. And lo and behold, the internet was kind of new. And I was like, I think I could try this. And I hired a consultant to help me set up a website and all these pay-per-click campaigns. And then I went in and I totally screwed them up over one weekend. And I was like, oh my God, I can't afford for him to come back. So I locked him out of all the accounts and learned how to do paid search over a weekend. And then, from there, just kind of built my marketing career. I was lucky enough to work for a small agency and then moved into the brand side with Office Depot and I love the combination of the art and science of marketing, where you take the data and you mix it with the art and you try and I don't know, like watching human beings do things are such fun animals to kind of watch, like if you ever kind of observe. And there's something really awesome about being able to do that and try and influence their path and get them to vote for your member or buy something or join AARP, make their lives better, easier. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. And I have certainly had a great group of mentors along the way who've helped me and helped lift me up. And that's a big part of who makes me me, is that I spend a lot of time trying to help others. So I always say, leave a ladder down and a door open, because it's super important. People have done that for me in my career, and that's how I've ended up in this kind of blessed space.
Thanks for sharing. I love the entrepreneurial experience and the go-getter attitude of locking somebody else and learning yourself. Like, that's something I think we all do, whether we admit it or not. You have to figure out how to do things you don't know how to do.
Yeah,
So.
well, when you start a business, guys, there is something about taking money and food off of your own table to invest. And sometimes we forget that when we work for brands or companies. And we owe it to the people who work in the company with us and our shareholders. Even if we don't sign the check and it's not our name on the building, it's super important. And it taught me an incredibly valuable life lesson. And that's actually where I learned how to track and measure profitability, because you have to be able to do that when you're making a decision of, do I go on a vacation or do I invest in a marketing campaign? Yeah.
Makes sense. Let's talk about soft surroundings. How did you end up in the role that you're at today, and why did you choose this company?
Yeah, so it's a bit serendipitous. I would say startup, cruise line, pandemic. There you go. So you find yourself in transition, and I found this amazing company in soft surroundings. I absolutely love what we do. For me, it was very important to find a company that was poised for growth. We are absolutely in transition, so we're a 25-year-old brand, founded by a female, largely led by female, our design teams and our merchants and our executive chair. And it was a cool opportunity to be able to work for a brand that I could be really proud of. I love the fact that our teams design clothing, they fit, where the patterns are placed, all of it is done with a more mature female stature in mind. For those of us who age, gravity and hormones take over. So you can't wear stuff that you wore in your 30s. We pay attention to that, and I love that. And I also love the heritage of our brand. I just think it's very important. And I love that we are a digital-first company. So whilst we have 40 locations, we are primarily an e-commerce company. And we are rife with opportunity there. I was laughing. I was telling Joe, we're working on, it's a 25-year-old company, and I don't think we updated our tech stack. So we're doing some cool stuff. Like, we're rolling out some great things with Shopify in both our stores and online. But it's not stopping us. The fact that we have a lot of fun problems to solve does not slow us down. So that's the other reason I'm with the company.
That's a great transition to the next question. What are some of these problems? What are some of these challenges that you're working to overcome?
I think the biggest is, like we saw here, only one person was like, yeah, I know that company. Somebody else told me, oh, my mom loves that brand. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I love that she loves the brand. So there is a bit of a brand awareness. We're a smaller company, but we have a significant place in our customers' lives. Really trying to understand that, make sure that we're meeting her needs. Also, women have evolved. Our friends from AARP did a really nice job of articulating that change that's happened, and it's no different for our customer. We start customers in our brand in their 40s and 50s, and these are very busy women with very full lives. Then as they move into their 60s, they're not ready to retire, but they are thinking differently about how they dress and how they want to present themselves. And then certainly we have women who are older, and it's really making sure that our products meet them where we need to meet them, and that our marketing is performing the way that it needs to. So it's a lot of fun.
What are, maybe you can dive into that a little bit more as you talk about your customer today, where the customer is going, and tap into, since we're talking about brand love, I don't know how many people here know who Tristan Walker is. He was like early at Foursquare, if anybody even knows what that is, went on to found his own company. I first heard him talking about, it's better to have a few people love you than a lot of people use you. It's a phrase I'm sure many people have heard, and I think about it a lot from a brand perspective, and it's really about focusing on what those key things are that people love about you, and then you can convert the people that like you and love you, and a lot that we've talked about. What are some of those things that people really love about soft surroundings?
It's interesting because we've just done a bunch of customer surveys, some ethnographic surveys and some persona work, and they love the quality of the clothes. They love the clothing. They love the attention they get in our stores. Our store associates really do some amazing jobs. They really treat the environment like a boutique. areas where we know we need to get better is we're not meeting her where we need to from a digital standpoint, and that's definitely, you know, on our website and our e-commerce presence. We're working on some old technology, so we'll get better at that. We need to understand what she needs from us. Some of the things she loves that she can fit in her clothes and stand out all at the same time. So our clothes have a unique flair about them. They're beautiful. We work with a lot of artisans from around the world to bring in different techniques and patterns. And all of our designs are ours. So our customer really loves that. Truthfully, there was a small period in time where that drifted. Our product drifted, and it wasn't meeting her where she expected it to. So we're working on adjusting that and making sure that we're spot on. The other thing is she loves the way our products fit. So we support women. We're a size-inclusive brand. We support petite sizes, Missy, as well as women's sizes. And we are very deliberate about how we block and size that. And that may seem kind of lame and super, like, why is that important? Because it is important. It's important to the consumer. Areas where we're doing better, we are absolutely doing better in trying to represent more diversity and size inclusivity in what we portray in our photography. For those of you who spend time in the space, it is much harder said than done and executed. So brands who do it well, I really admire, because it's not easy work to get done. So that's kind of what we believe drives our brand love and our heritage. You know, we've been around for a while.
I think everybody can relate to what you just said, which is things are easier said than done, right? We all know the challenges. It's easy to have a perspective outside of it, but it's hard to get there. What are some, on that note, if you're willing to share, are there any lessons learned, things that you've tried, which is obviously experimentation and trying to do things. We've heard that theme. It's very important. It's not always easy. It's not always received well. Maybe you can speak to that, and maybe even speak to how maybe other people in the organization responded to that, how you dealt with that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's always like the failure story. I will tell you guys a really funny story. Way back in the day, I was working with an agency, and we were doing dynamic video. Like, it's really slick technology where you could billions of permutations of video, you know, off of your product feed. And it was like, oh, hot damn, this is really cool. We got to do this. Until the CEO sent me a video and was like, Nicole, exactly why are we, I was working for Office Depot. Why are we doing videos about toilet paper? Like, I don't really know. It's because I can make billions of permutations. We'll send him the whole feed. And so you kind of have these moments where you're like, okay, sometimes the technology is a little further ahead of us than maybe we had thought through. Probably didn't need videos on our toilet paper, unless I'm Charmin, but we weren't. I would say, you know, lessons on that are agility, be able to maneuver quickly, and own it. You know, I encourage it, like, you know, we all make mistakes, own them, and try and fix them. Things that I think, you know, that I will say I think work really well that we experimented with. I'll draw upon experiences with Virgin Voyages. It was really tough when I joined the company. We weren't allowed to cruise yet, and actually, even when I left the company, still weren't cruising. That's tough. That is tough to sell a vacation and joy and all of these things at a very high price tag and nobody really felt like cruising. And so we took a bit of a gamble and we created a contest, and it was called Shipload of Love. You might ask, what is a shipload of love? It is 2,022 cruises. So we set out on a mission to give away 2,022 cruises. All you had to do was send in a video and tell us why somebody deserved one. And it was truly one of the most uplifting things that we did as a team and a brand and a company. I literally would watch these videos every day because it was just so much fun to see people send in videos of why loved ones deserved a cruise. And when you look at that and you look at what the expense of it was, you know, then it's like, okay, we got to get them cruising and reviews and all of that. The work of the work after that certainly happened. But it was really a way of taking a moment and connecting with your customer and connecting with humanity and showing joy and generosity at a time when it was really hard to show joy and generosity. So I think that's probably one of the ones that I looked to and said, gosh, and we actually did more than cover the cost of the cruises with the earned media impressions that we were able to garner from that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Questions? Somebody has a
Any
question?
questions in the group?
They're like, no, because happy hour is faster.
Well,
if we're
we
quiet.
have a plan, but yes. But am I cutting you off for a question? You, I don't know.
Well, let's wrap up with one more
One
question
more,
from
baby.
Nicole
All
to
right.
bring it home. Any tips for people in the audience, marketers? Any recommendations that you might have?
Have fun. I love what I do. I love what I do every single day, and it doesn't feel like work. So, you know what? Enjoy it, have fun, and try and learn something new every day because, like, damn, as fast as things are changing, like, you might as well embrace that. So that would be my advice.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. That was awesome. Great story. Thank you very much.